How many of you have made a dumb mistake, a mistake so dumb that you want to kick yourself over it? Well, I'm going to show you something that I did today that I identified. I think I even put it in the Patreon. I said it out loud to myself. I set targets and I still did not execute when said thing happened. So let me share my screen. So right now we're looking at Googl, okay? And this is the 1 hour chart over I believe this is a 3-month period. And you see in these boxes that there is a top that is reached. That's around the 320 area. And then you see a significant sell-off. Okay? So in this box on the far left right here where my cursor is, you can see we saw the price move higher, and then you see this super long red candle. That's around 322.14. And then it sells off aggressively, right? And it looks like it found support around 314.71, around just under 315. Then it moves higher. It goes to 323.09 and then sells off again. Okay? This line up top here, and we've talked about it before, this area, and you stretch it across the screen in multiple boxes, we'll hit the other rectangles. This is known as a supply zone. Okay? I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit better. Known as a supply zone. Supply zone essentially is when sellers come in and they dump the stock. Okay? They sell, they take profits. And you can see it's touched this 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times, which I identified. Again, here, tanks down, falls lower. Then we go to the next box. That same area, that 320, just over 320 area, and then we saw a significant sell-off from mid-December. It hit the top around December 10th, hit that supply zone, and then fell all the way down to 296, basically 296 on the dot, and then it came back up, okay? And then most recently, I had an options contract. Just 1 second. I had an options contract, and I bought a 310 call. And I bought this contract, I believe, the end of last year. And I kept noticing this. And I told myself, after we saw this dip happen here, if Googl reaches 320 or higher, I am going to sell. So this morning, we opened, we peaked at 320.90, and I held on to it, and I did not sell. Now, mind you, it wasn't anything significant as far as profit. It was less than $1,000, more than $300 that I could have locked in. Yet I did not, and we saw this significant sell-off here. So when you notice these supply zones, pay attention to them and respect them. Or you can have a winning trade turn into a losing trade in the quickness. Now, I didn't have to sell it, actually. The option that I had didn't expire until March 20th, I believe. So I still had a little bit of time, and I still believe that Google has some momentum, but the momentum is failing. As far as all my indicators, I don't necessarily like what I see. So I decided to sell it, and I made a whopping $30 on this trade when I could have sold it at its peak this morning around, I think it was up to about 500 bucks. If not, it was around $330, $400. But I was greedy. I was doing multiple things. Mind you, this is right when the market opened, and I was looking at multiple things. I was buying long-term shares. I was looking at other options contracts at the time. So if anything, it was a combination of I had too much going on, but yet still I knew that it was opening at 320 or above. I should have just taken profits. So I just wanted to share with you guys that respect these supply and these demand zones. When you see it's happening consistently over time, respect it, take your profit, let it fall, and then get back into the trade if your setup aligns again. Now, if you're wondering how to find the supply and demand zones, well, one of the tools that I use is barchart.com, and we can go to Google up top here. And you want to be on the left-hand side. It says quotes and it says price overview. You want to be on that page, and you scroll down on the right-hand side. I think I need to make the page smaller for you guys to see it. Scroll down on the right-hand side, and you can see the resistance level. So first level resistance was 319.59. Okay. Second level resistance 324.85. It didn't even get near that, I'm pretty sure. But in the middle here, the resistance, think of resistance as your ceiling. Right there, I should have been mindful of this, and you can identify it. Don't have to do too much work. And then if you want to go over to the 52-week, you can look at the Fibonacci, but in this case, the resistance levels were going to be more beneficial for you rather than the 52-week, because the next level was the 52-week high, and that was $328, $329. It was definitely not going to get that far. If it did, that would have been awesome, but it did not. Now, to give myself a little bit of slack, it did fall to about 314 or so, and then it went back up to 318, and then I went down and had some breakfast, and I didn't watch it, and then I came back and it was heading closer to 315, 314, 313. And so again, I had to be mindful. I was real cocky, thinking it was just going to continue to go back higher, and that was not the case. It lost its momentum. And then if you're not someone who likes to use bar chart, or if you like using Gemini, you can simply ask it a question. I said, I closed my Googl 310 call expiring 320 as momentum fell once again after hitting supply zone at $320 this morning and falling. I want a longer term option call. What should I consider? Okay. And then it gave me the options call, and you can actually ask it for the supply zone there as well if you wanted to. So use these tools. I think Alexa Plus, I haven't used that yet. But if you're an Amazon user, maybe use Alexa Plus, and maybe they'll be able to give you insights in as far as finances and trading, just like Google Gemini does. But for now, I'm going to stick to Google Gemini. I like it best over ChatGPT for identifying these trends for me. So I just want you guys to be mindful that I wanted to share that story. Don't be me. When you see something consistently happen, respect the supply zones and be mindful of those demand zones. If you're waiting for a contract to gain some momentum, or a equity or asset to gain some momentum, look for those demand zones. And those were areas where you see aggressive jumps in the share price. And that could be a great time to enter if it's coming off of a consolidation period, or just a period where it's just slowly climbing back up. let's look at the market overall. So today, S&P 500 hit a new high intraday of 6,948.49, and it closed at 644.82 today. So not far off of that high. Nasdaq, and we had a closed up 0.62%. Nasdaq had essentially the same return, did not hit a new high today, and the Dow hit a new high today intraday of $49,509.92 and closed at $49,462.08. So nice momentum to start the year. If you want to look at year to date, only a few days of the trading of 2026 as far as trading days. But S&P 500 is up 1.5%. Nasdaq's up just 0.65%. Nasdaq's up 1.31% for the year, and the Dow is up 2.91%. Some of the things that we have in our portfolio: gold has been on a nice tear year to date, up 4%. If you were an All In Society member, a paid member, you would have saw one of my favorite picks for 2026 was gold, and I started buying at the first of the year, and I have been reaping the rewards of that. Amazon broke out today, broke past its resistance. Talking about supply zone, it broke past that supply zone. Amazon is up 4.38% year to date. Today it's up just under 3.5%. But that was awesome to see Amazon close above 240. This thing has been trading flat for quite some time. Look at this 6-month chart, essentially flat. And we finally broke out of that trend today. Hopefully it continues. Nvidia was a little frustrating year to date. It's up 0.4%, but it closed essentially the same, just under 0.5% lower today. Unfortunately, it opened higher. It bounced high today at 192.17. It was up 2%, and then it tapered back down after the CES. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang addressed CES conference, and rolled out a lot of positive information. Should have been some catalyst for the stocks, but unfortunately, if we look at NVIDIA, it's kind of that supply zone again we're talking about. We hit just over 190 and it crashes back down. It's been doing it for a while. If we look at the 6-month chart, kind of the same, right? Trading around that 190, 180 area. It hit 200 plus. It hit a new all-time high back in November. And then it tapered off since then. And it's trading around that 190 range because it keeps bumping its head on that ceiling. So hopefully we get a breakout from that soon. Meta had a positive day today. Year to date, it's barely up, essentially flat. And today it was up 0.28%. Uber had a nice breakout today, up just under 6% for the day. That was awesome to see. It's up 4.69% year to date. But it was awesome to see Uber break out of that slump that it was in. Uber trading in that 95 range. It dipped a lot. Tesla, Elon started making statements about robo-taxis, and every time he does, Waymo, there's a couple of regulatory things that's going on overseas. Uber just had a lot of negative news in the past 3 months or so. So it's good to see that Uber had a nice bounce today. I actually jumped in an option call today. If you're interested in that, you'd have to be a part of the All In Society paid membership. We give you videos like this for free, but if you want to see what I'm doing in real time, you'll have to jump into that paid membership. It's only $10 per month. We would love to have you. But it's awesome to see Uber bouncing back. I would love to see this stock push above $100 within the next 6 months. One company I want to talk about, Vertiv Holdings. They do the liquid cooling to keep the chips, NVIDIA's chips, or any of those semiconductor chips. They keep them cool in the data centers. During the conference, and I didn't know this because I woke up this morning, this company was down 3%. It was actually down 6.5% today, just over that. Didn't really understand why because I kept searching and didn't see anything. But during NVIDIA's Jensen Huang's, the CEO of NVIDIA, is in his presentation, he mentioned some of the new technology, some of the newer chips might not need that liquid cooling in the future. The technology is advancing. So that was good to see for NVIDIA, but also not good for Vertiv. Obviously, the stock didn't like it, but there's still plenty of chips that are going to need that cooling. And as you can see, it was down 6.5% and actually finished the day positive today. So a quite volatile day for Vertiv Holdings shares and shareholders. Robinhood fell back. I saw saw Bitcoin rise, and it's been rising up to like 94,000 and tapered back down. Right now it's about 92,500. So you're going to see it fluctuate as Bitcoin fluctuates. Netflix in the 90 range. This is if you're a long-term holder, I've been slowly buying shares. I bought some last time at 95, and I think 90 might be another price to maybe buy some more. But this is almost kind of like a falling knife right now, so be careful if you are buying this dip. This is going to be, I believe, a long-term turnaround, although we do have earnings coming up in 2 weeks. So maybe we get a little bit more information on the Warner Brother Discovery deal or pending deal with Netflix and Warner Brothers Discovery to buy some of their IP, some of their assets. So maybe we get some news that is a catalyst and pushes shares higher. But more than likely, we're not going to get anything that is going to be beneficial to really do anything substantial. But knock on wood, you never know. DraftKings, I love DraftKings. Not really sure why this one fell. I didn't really identify a supply and demand zone. Today it hit a high of $37. Let's take a look at it. Maybe that's exactly what happened because I didn't find any news on why it would be down so much today. Oops. I think because I zoomed out so much, the page is acting silly. So let's close out of this. Let's go to bar chart. Okay, DraftKings. Let's scroll down. And I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see. And basically what I'm looking at right now, that looks like that's what the culprit was. Hope you guys can see this. Okay. Yeah, so it hit that second level of resistance at $37 range, and then it just tanked after that. There was a lot of selling. There's probably a lot of sellers that were trapped when they bought previously. Yeah, the Fibonacci, that was just under $37. So it looks like exactly what's happened. Sellers were able to probably get out and escape today once it hit 37. DraftKings hasn't been at $37 in quite some time, so it looks like that's what happened today. A couple of other things that are on the watch list that I wanted to be mindful of and bring to your attention. Micron, they do the memory portion of the chips, and this stock has just been on a tear. Year to date, it's up 20%. Now it did dip slightly this week, and I was hoping for it to fall a little bit more. I'm not really looking to buy it long term. I don't want to over do it with the tech, but I was kind of waiting and hoping that it fell a little bit more in order to get an option. But the implied volatility was pretty high, meaning that the premium for the contracts were expensive. So I sat in the sidelines, but it's okay. You're not going to catch every trade. Not everything's for you. So just watching this one kind of blow by. We did exit Taiwan Semi. It ran up to 333, and then it fell down to that 325, which was its most recent high before it hit the 323. Yeah, 328 or so area. 325, I think, was a high at one day. Let me look at the 5-day chart. Yeah, I hit about, is it 325 here? 325, 328. I decided to sell it when it hit 325 because I was scared that it was going to hit one of these supply zones and sell off significantly. It's done it already to me. So I actually played it right. In this case, with Taiwan Semi, but I did not with Googl. It hit that 312 ceiling and it sold off. But it looks like it's slowly climbing back up. I will be looking at that one slowly but surely and being patient with it and seeing if we can enter another trade with Taiwan Semi. I like the momentum. I like everything that's going on. They are the maker of the chips. These memory stocks for the semiconductors are taking off. So Taiwan Semi has to be a benefactor as well. Fistra Corporation had a good day today, up 4%. They are powering these data centers. They're going to need power to power these data centers. So those stocks are doing well today. Eaton, another component in the data center infrastructure, had a good day today. And then I wanted to scroll down here for one that some of the guys I watch in Earn Your Leisure, they were talking about Western Digital Corporation last night. And look what it did today, up 16%. Year to date, it's up 27%. I believe that's a data storage company. So a lot of these companies tied to semiconductors in the AI trade are doing very well this year. I don't know if it's going to stay that way. Looks like there's a lot of I'm not sure if exuberance is the correct word, but there's a lot of excitement with these trades. So, I would love for them to continue to go higher. I would just wish that NVIDIA would take part in some of this momentum. But I think NVIDIA, there's so many people that were in this when it was significantly cheaper. I believe if anybody who wanted some NVIDIA probably already have it. So we don't really have too many new buyers. There's a lot of people that are just already invested and they're just looking for areas just to keep nibbling off and selling. So unless we get, I think it's going to be like kind of like what's that game on The Price is Right where the man just goes up the hill slowly but surely? It's kind of like that. It's not going to be anything it's not going to take off like it has in years prior. It's going to be a slow, gradual run higher, I believe, this year. So the PE ratio, I believe Brad Gerstner said today, the PE ratio is actually cheaper now than it was like 2-3 years ago. So it's not overpriced. It's just a company, like I said, I just think everybody owns it. There's no new buyers that are coming in that are excited about it. So we're just going to have to let earnings just gradually take us higher every 3 months and hold on to it and just be patient with this one. And we'll be able to jump in and out and maybe find other places where there's momentum or other areas to focus on in the AI trade if you're focused on solely in the AI trade. So hopefully you found something beneficial to this episode. Again, respect those supply and demand zones, and I will see you guys next time.